My name's Hutch and I'm a gaming sex icon. Speaking of gaming sex icon, I just added a mug to my merch shop. A lot of you guys bought the shirt. If you guys are interested in mugs, well, there you go. Today's video is a Q&A video. I set a goal for myself about a month ago to do a vloggy type video every Sunday so that the channel keeps that kind of personal touch. I missed last week. I was traveling. So it's not going to be perfect, but I'm really going to make an effort to do these sorts of things every Sunday. I was originally going to do another Q&A session with my girlfriend, but she had to travel to North Carolina for work, so you just got me. Kamanaji, you want to ask, do you have concerns about wasting your time when it comes to the big picture of your life, or do you try not to think about it? Yes, I think about that every day. I think about, okay, I don't know about you guys, and maybe I'm a little bit more morbid than you are. I think about death every day. I think about the fact that my life someday is going to end. And that, I think, comes with some good and some bad. The good, or the bad is that, you know, sometimes it can be a downer. Nobody wants to think about the fact that they can't take their Xbox with them when they die. But the good is that I think it does make you appreciate the relationships that you have more in the present or in the moment. And yeah, it's a mixed bag for me. I mean, I haven't really figured out a productive way to not think about those things. Like sometimes I'd rather not think about them, but they pop into my mind all the time. I'm wondering, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I making the best of my time? I don't think those are bad questions that you want to be asking yourself. Carver, you wanted to ask, what would your first act as president be? The first thing that I would do if I was president of the United States is I would try to initiate massive education reform. I would try to funnel like a lot more taxpayers' money into education, give teachers a raise, and provide schools with the sort of resources that they would need in order to properly bring up our youth in this country. And then I would also try to dedicate money and resources to researching alternative methods to educate people, because I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to education. Like the way that I was taught in grade school is probably, looking back, not the best way that I could have been taught. I feel like with my personality, I ingest or I take in information maybe a little bit different from what I saw was being presented. So I don't know. But yeah, that would be my number one priority would be education. All right, Cody, your question is, honest opinion with reasons why. If any actor could be our president, who would you want? There's something about Tom Hanks. I just feel like he's a trustworthy guy. Maybe that's a testament to how good of an actor he is, because maybe he's like a total fucking creep, and I just didn't know it. So Tom Hanks, if you're watching this, you're good. You're good at what you do. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would trust him to lead this country. Six Below, you ask, video game character death that got you the most upset. I think for me, the answer to that question would be Ghost from Modern Warfare 2. Spoiler alert, if you've never played that game, Ghost gets betrayed and murdered. And Infinity Ward had already shown that they were willing to just like do crazy shit like that in their campaigns. But I did not see that one coming, and I really liked that character. So it really bugged me a lot. Anamnesis? So your question is, with everything that's happened with YouTube, would you consider streaming to be a preferable decision to making vids? Thanks for any insight. I mean, it really depends on like, I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all answer to that. For some people, during certain times, having the time and the resources to make like entertaining videos is more catered to their strong suits. And then for other people, other times, you know, doing a live stream for 3 or 4 hours, interacting with your chat, and just trying to be entertaining in that respect is going to work more for them then. The bet, like, what I would say to people is I would do both. Like these days, if this whole thing with YouTube is showing people one thing, it's that you really should not be putting everything in one basket. And it's a really smart idea to have your presence be felt on multiple platforms on the internet. So, I mean, if I was a pure YouTuber, this would be a really stressful time for me, but I'm not, so it's not. Infamous Killa 90. Do you plan on making videos with Sark and Nanners? Yes, I do. However, both of those guys and me, like all three of us are super busy. And so it's a lot harder now to make the time to do those kind of videos. That being said, I'm trying to line up a time with Sark right now to do like a joint react video, like we would react to an old episode of Respawn together. I think that's going to be super funny, but I can't tell you when that's going to happen. Hopefully in the next week, And as far as with Adam goes, I still plan on playing like video games with him. I think we're getting lunch maybe Monday. I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll see. The answer is yes, and I don't know when. David Donick, you wanted to ask, Hutch, quick, what are your top 5 hip hop artists and rappers? All right, so right now, if you had to ask me what my list would be, it would be number 5, Kendrick Lamar, number 4, Tupac, number 3, Eminem, number 2, Outkast, and number 1, Lauryn Hill. Owen Price, you asked me, do you feel your content is better when you're alone or when you have someone else to bounce off of? It really kind of depends on what the video is. For streaming, I think it's definitely a lot easier for me if I have people to bounce off of. That being said, I know some people that stream solo all the time and they really enjoy that and make super entertaining streams. So again, I keep going back to this whole like, there's no one size fits all answer here, and whatever you enjoy doing most is probably what your strongest suit is. Keith Lang, how does one effectively combat cynicism and solipsism without becoming naive? That's a really good question, and that's a question that I've grappled with probably like my whole adult life. Those kinds of heavy-hitting questions really hit me hard when I was in college, and ended up being a really confusing time because I still don't have the answers, and I didn't have the answers back then. But if you're asking me what's the best way, because here's the thing, because I don't think that it's a bad thing to consider certain philosophies, maybe not believe them in like a dogmatic way, but to consider them, to think about them, to think about what that philosopher was thinking of or considering when they came up with that philosophy in the first place. I think there's value in that, but to swim in that cynicism or to swim in that solipsism can be the sun got a little dark in the middle of this little rant. To live in that space can get you down to a pretty dark level. So to me personally, the best way that I've found to combat that dark side of thinking about those big questions is to invest in the friendships and the relationships that I have. The more I'm thinking about other people and the less I'm thinking about myself, the better I end up feeling in the long run. Sometimes there's like self-reflection that is productive and good and stuff like that, but if it's all you all the time up here, then I think that you'll end up feeling pretty alienated after doing that for a couple years, 3 years, 4 years, however long it takes. You will start to feel pretty alone if you do that too much. So I do my best to invest in the relationships that I have. Drew, do you worry about the future as a YouTuber, knowing the changes they have made with issues with demonetization? So yeah, it's like I said before. I think I would be a lot more worried. Like, I'm concerned, but I'm not like super stressed. Just because I took the time a few years ago to invest in Twitch and make that like a regular part of my schedule, and it's not only Twitch, like I do hosting gigs now too, and I get, I make money doing that. So, yeah, I've kind of taken everything that I've learned from YouTube and I've tried to apply it in other arenas within the games industry, and it's worked out for me so far. And as long as I keep like spreading my wings, then, and doing the best I can, then I just kind of have faith that it's going to work out, because it's been working out for a decade now. But yeah, I mean, like, if I was just a pure YouTuber, if I didn't do anything else besides YouTube, like, let's say a month and a half ago, I finally hit that, like, threshold as far as, revenue that month or views that month or subscribers that month, and then all of a sudden this big change comes, maybe I just quit my job or something like that. Yeah, that would be a nightmare, But, I said it once before in this video, I'll say it again, spread your wings, you know what I mean? Spread yourself out through different websites and platforms, because I think it's kind of a fool's errand to place all your trust in this one platform, because you never know when this is going to change, Ace Windu says, how do you balance your time between your girlfriend and gaming? And oh, you know what? It looks like, Carl, you answered it. You said he doesn't. Streams for like an hour and uploads stream highlights, so his girlfriend gets a lot of attention. Okay, so that's going to do it for today's Q&A. I just want to put a plug out there for a video that I uploaded on Friday. It's Quality Time with Hutch. which is basically a weekly podcast series that I do where I bring in other people from the community and we have very frank conversations about things that maybe you haven't heard us talk about before. That's at least that's the goal every time I do one of these things. But this Friday was with Gassy Mexican. We had a really good conversation about what it is to be a YouTuber and a streamer, and how do you balance your personal relationships, or how do you balance your time between your personal relationships and your work, and how do you avoid burnout. And I thought it was a really good conversation. If you guys are interested at all in getting a glimpse into the mind of what it's like to be a YouTuber, then I think you might find it interesting as well. And with that, I'm going to go. Hope you guys had a good weekend, and I will talk to you later.